Welcome to another episode of Marine Science Facts. Staghorn corals are one of the most iconic and recognizable coral groups on tropical reefs. Their name comes from their branching structure, which resembles the antlers of a deer. These branches can grow rapidly and spread outward in dense thickets, creating some of the most visually striking and ecologically valuable habitats in shallow marine environments. Staghorn corals belong to the genus Acropora, which contains more than 150 species, making it one of the largest and most diverse coral genera in the world. To understand why staghorn corals matter so much, it helps to look at how they live and grow. Like most reef-building corals, staghorn corals are made up of thousands of tiny polyps. Each polyp secretes a calcium carbonate skeleton, and together these skeletons build the coral's branching framework. The polyps host microscopic algae called zooxanthellae, and this partnership is essential to the coral's survival. The algae use sunlight to produce energy through photosynthesis and share a large portion of that energy with their coral host. In return, the coral provides the algae with shelter and nutrients. This symbiosis allows staghorn corals to grow faster than many other hard coral species, and in good conditions they can extend their branches several centimeters per year. Staghorn corals are considered ecosystem engineers because their structures shape the environment around them. When they form large thickets, they create hiding places for juvenile fish, nurseries for reef species, and habitat for countless invertebrates. These thickets break up wave energy before it reaches the shoreline, helping reduce coastal erosion and protecting nearby communities. They also increase the overall three-dimensional complexity of a reef, which directly supports higher biodiversity. A reef dominated by staghorn coral tends to be much more vibrant, with more fish, more invertebrates, and more ecological interactions than flatter reef areas. Their role in fisheries is also important. Many fish that sustain local communities, such as snappers, groupers, parrotfish, damselfish, and wrasses, use staghorn thickets as feeding grounds or as safe spaces during early life stages. Without this habitat, fish populations often decline, weakening local food security and reducing the resilience of coastal ecosystems. By supporting reef fish and stabilizing reef structures, staghorn corals indirectly support tourism economies as well. Healthy branching corals attract divers and snorkelers, bringing revenue to communities that depend on marine tourism. Staghorn corals typically thrive in shallow, well-lit, warm tropical waters. They are abundant throughout the Indo-Pacific region, especially in areas like the Great Barrier Reef, Indonesia, the Philippines, and parts of the Indian Ocean. In the Caribbean, two species, Acropora cervicornis, staghorn coral, and Acropora palmata, elkhorn coral, once dominated shallow reefs but have suffered dramatic declines over the last 40 years. These two species are now listed as threatened due to multiple stressors, including disease, ocean warming, hurricanes, and human disturbance. One of the reasons staghorn corals decline so quickly under stress is that their fast growth strategy comes at a cost. Their skeletons, while efficient to build, are more fragile than those of massive corals like brain corals or boulder corals. Strong waves, storms, or physical disturbances can easily break branches. Although broken fragments can sometimes reattach and grow into new colonies, a process known as fragmentation, excessive breakage can overwhelm the coral's ability to recover. That fragility also makes them particularly vulnerable during bleaching events, when high water temperatures disrupt the coral-algae partnership. Because they rely heavily on their algae for energy, staghorn corals bleach quickly and often suffer high mortality during heat waves. Despite these challenges, staghorn corals have also become a centerpiece of reef restoration efforts. Their ability to grow rapidly and reproduce through fragmentation makes them ideal candidates for coral nurseries. In many restoration programs, small pieces of staghorn coral are suspended on underwater trees or placed in simple nursery structures, where they grow faster and with fewer predators than they would in the wild. After reaching a certain size, they are transplanted back onto degraded reefs. In some regions, this approach has already led to the recovery of local staghorn populations and the return of fish species that depend on them. Staghorn corals also play a role in reef evolution. Their fast growth helps build reef frameworks that accumulate over long periods. As they die and leave behind calcium carbonate skeletons, new corals settle on the old structures, creating vertical growth that allows reefs to keep pace with changes in sea level. Without fast-growing corals like Acropora, many reefs would grow too slowly to maintain their structure, ultimately flattening and losing their ecological richness. There are several interesting facts about staghorn corals that highlight their unique biology. First, they reproduce in two ways: by fragmentation, which creates clones of the original colony, and by mass spawning, when corals release eggs and sperm into the water column during synchronized events tied to lunar cycles. Second, each staghorn colony is genetically distinct, and genetic diversity is crucial for surviving future heat waves or disease outbreaks. Third, some species thrive in very shallow water, where waves are strongest, while others prefer slightly deeper zones with stable sunlight and fewer disturbances. Their distribution across the reef helps shape the overall layout of coral communities. Even their color tells a story. Staghorn corals can appear blue, green, yellow, brown, or pale cream, depending on their symbiotic algae and pigments. These colors act as natural sunscreens, protecting their tissues from intense sunlight and shallow water. In sum, staghorn corals are more than just beautiful reef organisms. They are builders, protectors, nursery keepers, and biodiversity enhancers. Their fast growth forms complex habitats that support marine life, shield coastlines, and sustain human communities. Losing them means losing one of the most productive engines of reef ecosystems. Protecting and restoring staghorn corals is not only about saving a single type of coral. It is about preserving whole reef systems and the countless benefits they provide to nature and people alike. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell to never miss out on any ocean stories. Let us know in the comments section which ocean facts you want to hear next.